What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to go through 3 envelopes I'm going to open up. I believe these to be NBA successes, or technically ABA NBA successes, only because of the postmarks on a couple of the envelopes. So let me jump right in here and kind of show you what I got back, and we will talk about the players. Okay. So the first one is returned from former Chicago Bull / Washington Bullet / University of Minnesota head coach Clem Haskins on 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is him with Team USA in 1996 when they won the gold medal. Dream Team 3 in particular, I believe they called that team. He would have been the coach at the University of Minnesota at the time. He was an assistant on this team. But Clem Haskins played at Western Kentucky University. He was the point guard on that team from 1964 to 67. He was drafted in the first round by the Chicago Bulls that year in 1967. And he spent 3 seasons with the Chicago Bulls. He spent from 1970 to 74 with the Suns. Then he also played from 74-76 with the Washington Bullets. Overall, throughout his career, he averaged 12.8 points per game and about 3.5 assists per game as a pro. So he was on the 1970s Bulls teams that would have featured Artis Gilmore, Bob Love, some of the players of that ilk. Jerry Sloan would have probably been on that team, among others. So, he was a very good player for a few years. Then he turned to coaching at his alma mater, Western Kentucky University, after his retirement. He first started out as an assistant coach the following year after his last year with the Bullets, then worked his way to the head coach from 1980 to 86. Then after the 86 season, he went to the University of Minnesota Gophers, where he was their coach until 1999. Now, the cool thing about the autographs is not only did he sign the front of these Team USA cards, I turned it over, he signed the back too. And unfortunately, it doesn't look so bad, but I didn't prep the back of the card, so I was not expecting to have him dual sign the cards, but maybe he felt the autograph didn't show up as well on that one, so he figured turn it over and sign on the back with less of a dark background. I don't know. So thank you, Mr. Haskins. Really appreciate you signing those. A great addition to my NBA collection from the 70s. All right. This next one is postmarked from Cleveland. And it is one of the greatest Cleveland Cavaliers of all time that you probably don't know. And who am I talking about? That is Jim Chones. Or Chones. I don't know if I'm saying that right. On 1, 2, 3, and 4 as a Laker towards the end of his career there. So Jim Chones, who is he? Jim Chones was one of the best big men to come out of Marquette University. He played his collegiate ball with Marquette. He was drafted by the Lakers, and he never played for the Lakers because obviously, let me rephrase. He was originally drafted by the Lakers, but he was not with the Lakers to start out. He would later go to the Lakers later in his career after he was traded a couple times in different capacities. He originally started out in the ABA, and he was traded by the Lakers to the Cavs for the 1975 first-round draft pick, which turned out to be Junior Bridgman, who I did another Through the Mail Thursday video on. I did not know that. So Jim Chones was traded for the Lakers, so the Lakers could draft Junior Bridgman, who they then traded to the Milwaukee Bucks to get Lou Alcindor. I wish I would have known that. I would have tried to get Chones in that video. I did not know that till just right now when I read it. He then was traded to the Cavs, where he found huge success with the Cavaliers. After the 1979 season with the Cavs, he was traded to the Lakers for Dave Robish. And after that, he played for the Washington Bullets for a couple seasons, or one season. So overall in his career, Jim Chones was a 6'11" power forward center. You know, he could play either position. He averaged for his career 12.5 points per game and about, 8.2 rebounds a game. So he was a 12-8 guy for his entire career, which to have a big guy that does 12-8 for you a game, that is excellent. So Jim Chones, probably one of the greatest Cleveland Cavaliers ever to play big men. You know, you got Brad Daugherty, you got, of course, Kevin Love, you know, Larry Nance, on down the list. As a big NBA 2K fan, I probably, when I redo the Cavs roster, I'm probably going to try to integrate Mr. Chones into that roster because I feel like he's a very overlooked player from the era when the Cavs weren't that great. He played in the ABA with the New York Nets. He also played for the Carolina Cougars, which was an ABA franchise that went defunct. Carolina Cougars sounds more like a reality TV show than it does a basketball team. But Chones was Mr. Consistent for, you know, roughly about 8 years or so. Was it 8 years with the Cavs? 5 seasons with the Cavs, excuse me. 5 seasons with the Cavs. He was Mr. Consistent, 12-8 almost every game, and played good defense. So, thank you, Mr. Chones. He currently lives in the Cleveland area and still is involved with the Cavs. I'm not sure if he does some PR work in the front office or if he, you know, does some sideline reporting or something along those lines. I remember reading that on his biography once, that he still works for the Cavs in some capacity today. So, thank you, Mr. Chones. I appreciate it. And another great addition to my old school basketball autographs. All right. This is another oldie but goodie. And this is former New York Net ABA great Bill Melchionni on one. A team card makes two with Dr. J in the back row right there. Actually, it's Dr. J in the front row. Never mind. Different guy with an afro. 3 on an ABA assist leader and 4 on an ABA assist leader. Now, Bill Melchionni was on this great New York Nets team with Dr. J right there in the front. And Schwinn Nader, who was also all-time great, you know, basketball player, along with John Williamson, another great New York Net. And he was the point guard. He was the guy that got the ball to Dr. J. That's not a bad career. You know, to have a talent like Dr. J on your team, all your job is to get him the ball. And that's what Melchionni made a career out of doing. Now, Melchionni, ironically, Jim Chones was his teammate. After looking at the stats here, Chones' first year in the NBA, I don't think it's this card. No. This one's this one's not got Chones on it. Billy Paltz was also on that team, who was also a great player from that era. But Melchionni himself, you know, played for the Nets. He was, you know, one of the greatest Nets point guards ever to play the game. I believe they have his number retired in the rafters. The Brooklyn Nets do, I should say. The Nets have changed their name many times. He had a brother that also played in the NBA. He was a ABA All-Star 3 times. For his career, he averaged 10 points a game over 646 games. Spent how many seasons with the Nets? 7 of his seasons with the Nets. Oh, here's an ironic thing. I did not know this. He was on the Philadelphia 76ers in the NBA before he went to the ABA. So you often hear about players that were in the ABA that came to the NBA, but he was the opposite. He played in the NBA, then played in the ABA, and that's where he finished his career. As a matter of fact, he was on the 1966-67 Philadelphia 76ers that won the championship. You know, I'm guessing that's with Wilt the Stilt at the time. See if I can load that real quick. Yep, Billy Cunningham, Wilt Chamberlain, Hal Greer, Chet Walker, all Hall of Famers. And Mel Sione was the point guard, or at least the backup point guard on that team. I was not aware of that. That's pretty cool. So, anyways, Bill Melchionni, one of the greatest New York Nets ever to play. Again, I'm going to reference the NBA 2K video. I'm going to put the link right up here in the corner. I put him on the all-time Brooklyn Nets, New Jersey Nets, New York Nets team as one of the point guards off the bench. Jason Kidd, of course, being the starter. And, you know, that's kind of a cool little project that I put together if you guys are interested in NBA 2K and video games. But thank you very much, Mr. Melchionni. I might send this Nets card to somebody else, see if they can sign it. I know I'm not going to get Dr. J on it, but maybe some of the other guys that were on the team. Thank you, Mr. Chones, for signing as well. And thank you, Mr. Haskins, for you signing as well. If you guys recall, I had I'll put another video up here in the corner right there. I picked up all those vintage basketball cards a little while back, and these are some of the cards that I pulled out of that album and I sent away. So thanks for watching, and join me again for another Through the Mail Thursday video in the future. Thanks.